Here's an interesting thing, man, on the retention path that you will probably do at some point. It's reminiscing on your long retention streaks. What do I mean by like a long retention streak? Basically, man, anytime you've really exceeded your expectations, anytime you've gone quite far down a retention streak and you've actually been like impressed with yourself and you've kind of hit a level where you're like, wow, man, I've really got it. I've really got the energy of life. I'm really retaining. I feel like a Superman. I feel awesome. When you do that, and when you look back, I gotta admit, we look back and we really reminisce. I was looking up at the word reminisce, and it means to remember with pleasure, to cast one's mind back to be nostalgic about, right? To dwell on. Dude, because when we retain, something happens. Something magical happens. And when we lose that magic, it's almost a little bit like, oh man, fuck, I remember that. I was enjoying that. I was in a really good point in my life when I was, had that retention streak. I remember, I think it was last summer actually, I had a really, really like strong, healthy retention streak. That's if you're counting days. You don't really need to count days. But if you do want to, you can. And if you do, man, you will think back to yourself and, you might even see pictures of yourself during that time. You think, man, I was a bit of a superhero back then. I was a bit of a badass. And you'll actually respect yourself a lot. You'll even almost sort of think back like, whoa, that version of me, man, damn, he was unstoppable, right? And I actually invite you to reminisce a little bit because it will help you to remember the magic of this practice. I try to mention it a lot, man. It's really easy to forget the magic of this practice. It's super easy, man. All you need to do really is release and then kind of just like remain in that space, maybe release again. If you do that, you're not going to be in tune with the magic of retention. It's going to kind of fade away. It's really hard to kind of tune back in until you've got a couple of days under your belt. But when you reminisce and you see a photo, you see a video, whatever, it really does help bring back to mind, oh man, I remember that retention streak, that great retention streak when I, And really, if you want to, man, what you can do is you can think, that guy was cool. That guy was awesome. That guy was fucking insane. But I want to exceed that. I want to do that again, but even better, right? Because really, man, what we're doing is we're always evolving, okay? We're always leveling up. And there's nothing stopping you, man, from taking that retention streak and absolutely smashing it. Set your mind on a clear goal. Get focused, get locked in, and smash a new streak, man. Get on retention, brother, and kind of just forget about it. Right? You just want to be in the flow, retaining, not even aware that you're retaining because you're so present. That's what you want to be doing. And what you're really reminiscing on when you are thinking about that, your past retention streaks where you really, really, really had it, is how present you were and how probably connected you were to life because you were just probably living a lot. Right? When you retain and when you have the energy of life with you, you do a lot of cool stuff, man. Me personally, I say yes to things. Someone says like, hey man, can you help me with this thing? Can you help me do this thing with my house? Can I call you quickly? I say yes a lot now because I'm like, dude, it's an invitation from the universe. And the energy within me, which helps me be more of the universe, connects with that. And I'm like, yeah. Whereas when you release a bunch, you kind of turn down all of the calls to adventure. You just, we stay in pleasure. We stay in escapism. But when we retain and when we kind of, shift into a good mindset, we fucking live a whole adventurous life, man. Right? Like it's quite, like I appreciate if you're quite, introverted or, you don't like to go outside too much or you don't like to socialize too much. I was certainly like that at one point. But these days, man, what I'm realizing is that life is an adventure and you create that adventure. And the way to amplify it is by retaining. Or at the very least, man, just remove the sexual thoughts from your mind because, I'm still cool without retention. I love retention, but without it, I can still function. For me, it's the lust that is a drainer. It's the PMO, it's the pornography. It's not the being intimate. It's not necessarily the release, although that can, drain one that has an energetic cost. But you just want to be removing that lust. We've said it before, it's lust that is the thing to get rid of. So what you can do, man, is you can reminisce on your long retention streaks, and you can get inspired, man. You can get inspired. A lot of this work, man, is living from a very inspired place. If you can do that, man, you're just going to take yourself to such good places, honestly, right? So feel free to reminisce, look back fondly, enjoy the memory of your long retention streaks, get inspired because of that, and create this new adventure and just enjoy yourself, man. That is it for me. If you've enjoyed this one, you can subscribe. Otherwise, my friend, as always, peace.